Hazlitt parents charged in drug overdose of 1-year-old son. Prosecutor: leaving drugs out and unattended is just as dangerous for children as leaving guns out and unattended. Especially if you're one of those savages that handles drugs or gets high in front of your kids. They don't know if it's food or candy. All they understand is that if it's good for you, it should be good for them. The parents of a 1-year-old boy have been charged with endangerment after the child experienced a suspected drug overdose in Hazlitt Thursday. Monmouth County Prosecutor Raymond S. Santiago said Friday the boy was revived by responding police officers and was in stable condition Friday. He is now safely in the custody of a relative, the prosecutor's office said. The variety of narcotics found when the cops searched the property would lead me to believe that they were a little more on the side of selling the drugs than doing the drugs, but this is still rock bottom either way, and a moment of clarity should come from the fact that they didn't lose their 1-year-old child from exposing him to a high-risk environment. The prosecutor also praised the responding officer's grace under pressure to save the boy's life. Absolutely. Alexander Green, 28, and Rosalia Diasio, 23, are both charged with second-degree endangering the welfare of a child, while Green is also charged with numerous related second and third-degree drug offenses, the prosecutor's office said. 1 year old is still very much an age where children are curious and they do a lot of exploring by putting things in their mouths, so it's not unlikely for a child to see drugs packaged in a way that looks like gum or candy. Shortly before noon on Thursday, December 29th, members of the Hazlitt Police Department and Homedale Township Police Department responded to the parking lot of a shopping plaza at Middle Road and Laurel Avenue for a report of a child undergoing a medical episode. At that location, responding officers found the young victim suffering from an unexpected opioid overdose. The officers administered naloxone to the child, reviving him, and transported him to a local hospital for emergency treatment, the prosecutor said in a news release. Great preparation having that Narcan or naloxone on them already, instead of having to wait for it, because nowadays it's so easy to get exposed to opioids that they have to keep it on them in case they have to save their own life. In this case, it worked wonders because they used it to save the life of a child. A search of the defendant's home, here we go, resulted in the seizure of more than 1,000 suspected alprazolam pills, as well as quantities of suspected prescription amphetamines, crystal methamphetamine, heroin, ketamine, LSD, oxycodone, and psilocybin mushrooms, and a partridge in a pear tree. Green was taken into custody without incident pending a detention hearing to take place in Monmouth County Superior Court. Just the sheer variety of narcotics that they found is what makes me want to believe that they were more selling the drugs than doing the drugs, because let's be honest with each other, if they were doing all those drugs, there's no way in hell they should have had custody of that child. Not for 1 second. Diageo was served the charges against her via a summons. As the national opioid epidemic has worsened, naloxone has become as much a fundamental component of a police officer's daily toolkit as a flashlight or handcuffs. Absolutely. And yesterday's events offer a textbook example of why that is, Prosecutor Santiago said. We recognize and commend these responding officers' grace under pressure, which directly resulted in a young child's life being saved.